Beast Swarm Simulator is probably one of the most fun and enjoyable games on Roblox, but it is so easy to get lost in the game and not knowing just what to do, or maybe how to get a certain thing easily. So I am going to be sharing with you 46 different tips that are just crucial to have, or else let's say you are really early game, it will take you way longer progress through the game if you just don't know these things. And these are for literally every single game stage at the same time too. So if you are end game thinking, oh yeah, then these won't be useful to me, well, they're useful for everyone. There's at least 5 or more things everyone will take from this, so make sure to stick around till the end. Anyway though, starting with a really basic one being not using diamond eggs for number 1, and really just any egg you get apart from maybe gold egg, silver egg, maybe you can just use those if you are trying to get some bees, but overall not using diamond eggs for example, since you will struggle getting diamond mask, as that is mostly used for diamond max, and if you do use them and don't macro, you are kind of cooked because you won't be able to buy the 400 ticket one. Now maybe if you want to you can because of this, but I'd recommend just not to. And another one being star egg, to not use it because if you do use star egg, it's going to give you a gifted bee that you don't have, and the best thing to do is just have all non-event bees and non-mythic bees gifted in your entire hive, and when you use it you're going to get a free gifted mythic just instantly, guaranteed, even if you never had a mythic before. So that's going to be really OP. But if you don't have one normal bee that is gifted, that's not event bee or mythic, then you're going to get that exact bee, so don't be surprised if that happens. Next thing is you do want to aim to have this mask over here and just be blue hive whenever you start the game, because if you do go early red or early white, you will struggle so bad with honey, you will regret it so bad that you will just want to be blue. And blue is still good even if you don't macro on that early game stage, and being blue until level 20, then switching is something really good and will save you loads of time and loads of pain and suffering and wanting to just quit the game, because that literally has happened to multiple people that I know. The next one is actually a really nice one with planters, because for anyone that has pretty decent planters at least, like even just pesticide, and if you're not blue hive that's just macroing in pine all day, then you can just have pesticide planter inside of spider field non-stop 24/7, getting it to 100%, then just harvesting it for about, let's see, 135 to 150 bitter berries. I've calculated that before, and every time you do that you get that many. And that is going to be really useful for mutations that are basically just crucial inside a Beast Swarm, like they're 100% needed. But planters overall are one of the best sources of materials. Or either, let's go over here, the petal planter, and you might not have it, but you could use tacky planter or other planters as a replacement. But petal planter is one thing you definitely need. It's maybe even sometimes better than planter of plenty in terms of loot, because it does give loads of glitter, loads of field dice, which is literally insanely OP for all the hive collars and for crafting as well, for new backpacks if they ever come out. Here is also a list of places to plant loads of planters for, not only the wax as well as you see, but there's loads of caustic and swirled wax, but also for other things like best places for extracts with the red HQ and blue HQ planter, hydroponic and heat treated, enzymes, literally just everything, because planters are just that OP. It is also a nectar list because dandelion has comforting, sunflower has satisfying and stuff like that, for people that didn't know where nectar comes from, because yeah, every field has a different type, and unfortunately nectar is probably one of the most important things in the game, and it's only obtained while in game, not grown offline. But anyway, the next one is polar bear and polar power, and you want to aim to macro or even get as much polar power as possible. And this is probably one of my favorite ones because I have so much of it, because it is so OP and people sleep on it so much. But you do need at least 1000 polar power. Please guys, just start doing polar bear quests already. But it's not only because of the max bee energy, but also whenever it is Beesmas, and if you're macroing or even just doing a daily run collecting everything, then the Beesmas feast is so OP that it gives you so much bitter berries, sometimes up to 100, but like 200, 300 fruit at my stage right now. You will get maybe 50 to 100 fruit, okay, maybe a bit less, like 70, 80, who knows, depending how much you have, which is why you want a lot. So what I'm saying is you farm extra materials like that as well. That will be really useful for just gifting or crafting. Now the next thing is one of the most optimal things to do inside of Beast Swarm is to be blue hive, since the moment you get SSA, yeah, maybe before you can be some sort of mixed, whatever, legendary hive, whatever, get quests. But once you do get that SSA, make sure you are blue hive, okay? Not red, not white, not mixed, not whatever hive, not orange, blue, okay? And do that until you're level 20, full gifted. Maybe not full gifted, who cares? I'm sure you will be full gifted by then though, for real. And if you do want to switch, then switching costs about 1 quadrillion honey at least, because whenever you do switch, you do actually want to have a full gifted hive and a really good SSA to be not cooked, or you will make 0 honey. Now for a bit of early game, just this one really, but when you first start, make sure you always have a paper planter inside of dandelion for the comforting nectar, as is the most OP then, and when you can, just try get more and more nectar. But nectar is really OP any stage, so the more you can get, the more you'll make, and your quests will go faster too in the early game stages, or even before you get SSA. Literally just all stages, make sure you're getting some nectar, even if it's just paper planter, ticket planters. Just make sure they're placed down inside of dandelion and sunflower field, preferably at that stage, really early one, but later on all will be needed. Now look, this one is kind of crazy, so hear me out on it, but once you do get to a pretty, let's just say mid even end game stage, you will want to focus on the quest badge over here and the battle badge here, yeah, because these badges give a crazy amount of capacity and critical power once they are unlocked. Now that jump is pretty big, from 30, from 70 to 100, and from 2 to 2.25 if you are blue, and then really just all hive collars overall for most of them, or like both. And I really just recommend bug running with polar bear to get your polar quests up, and this will also get the battle badge up, getting the bug run. So at the same time, whenever it's off Beesmas or even on Beesmas, when you're not making honey, make sure you got this, because it will make you way more than you're making already. Next is make sure Tabby B is your first event B, so the Tabby power over here just starts stacking up straight from the early game. And if you are blue hive, this is something I'm seeing so much and it gets me so annoyed, but make sure you got a way higher balloon blessing than 36. Basically have at least a 60x blessing. Look, even a 56 plus, okay, but at least 60 plus, because I see people wonder why they're making nothing, but they have 0 good nectar, like it's all 1 hour and 3 nectars only. You need all 5, you need at least 20 hours plus, maybe even 18 hours, okay, but overall that's still pushing it. You still need at least max, and 0 blessing, 0 bloat, 0 anything. Like, what are you guys doing, bro? At least get a good balloon blessing, okay? If you don't know how to boost as blue, then watch my video on how to get a big balloon blessing. Easy. Now talking about nectar again, nectar is one of the most important things to try have maxed, so try have it as much maxed as possible by either first just sitting on your planter, AFKing it, hopefully on it as grow offline, but then whenever it does get maxed, after I don't know, maybe an hour or 2 depending how much polar power you have, because yeah, it does grow them faster, you can either go up over there to the condensing machine, condense it into nectar vials so you can use it whenever it's boost time if you can't macro, or if you can but macroing other stuff and not really blue, put it inside of there on one of them. Or if you are blue, then you probably already have a planter thing set up to get a lot of nectar, so you should be good. But having good planters as well is something you want to focus on too. The better planter, the more nectar. Like planter of plenty gives 1 day plus, petal planter as you saw gave me 21 hours, pesticide gave me 12 hours, and like that. So you gotta make sure you can keep up at least max nectar later on to maximize your honey. Next is make sure to use translator first on Riley or Bucko, since you'll really be blue first ideally, but science fair quests are easy, so you'll get all pretty fast. Now the best real way to progress in Beesform is whenever Beesmas is active. Wow, how could you have guessed? But it literally gives you 2 times honey, basically, not only from honey days but from the ornaments. They are just so OP. Same with all the rewards you get, can literally go from level 0 hive to literally level 20 if you do macro the entire Beesmas, so please just don't miss it and properly make use of it. Tip 13, the bleached toothpaste hives are actually pretty good. All the legendary bees that you know about in Beeswarm are so OP for the early game stage, like diamond, blue boost, demon bee, red bomb, and everything is going to make you so much honey until SSA. Then you switch to the bubble kind of hive and everything. Tip 14, macroing and having a fuzzy ult or tadpole ult is, depending on which hive color you are, is a 100% need, or you will literally make nothing. So try find people or macro in a group if you are blue hive that has a tad ult, or even people with just fuzzy bees inside of their hive and stuff to just make more. Tip 15, now every 5 bee levels inside of Beeswarm you get a crazy buff, so it goes level 0, level 5, level 10, level 15, level 20, and level 25. They get insane. So if you are choosing something between, well, whatever, first 2 level up bees and they are about to be on the 5th level, then now you know what is best. Next, gifting your bees is probably one of the most important things too, and to gift bees without a star tree if you are missing it because you can't get tickets from Wealth Clock if you max macroing or whatever, you could either find people doing sprout parties for fruit or the Beesmas feast in Beesmas, which is why you want a lot of polar power, bro. It's just everything to gift them. Now doing your dailies, depending on if it's Beesmas, then you can get the decorations at the same time, or if it's just a normal day without Beesmas, make sure you do dailies like claim glue dispenser, kill the crab, kill king beetle, kill tunnel bear. That will help you out a lot towards gummy boots, as you just saw, and really just everything, such as maybe even coconut bag or belt. But talking about the crab for the next tip, if it does take you like 30 minutes or more to kill the coconut crab, then just don't kill it. It's such a waste of time that can be focused on grinding quests, grinding honey for better B levels and gear that will actually kill the coconut crab faster when you receive them. Now for tip 19, macro over here is probably, not even probably, because it is a very much need in Bee Swarm, unfortunately. Everything can be done with macro, as you do see, literally auto jelly, vicious hopping, maintaining your planters, nectar, collecting them, doing bug runs, the quests, the buffs, the bosses, blender, blue, Hive macroing, for everything. It is a 100% need, or you are at a disadvantage if you're playing. You get so much materials, so much everything from it than you would normally have from just manual playing. Like my playtime is 1.1k, yes, from macro, and that's how I'm so rich. Just macroing honey, even as early game, will be massive for you. And at that stage, just being in Pine Tree, trying to go into Hive, repeating, converting, boom, or polar quests and bug run macro like I mentioned before, completing other quests too, like Riley or Bucko or a tool, or just Stinger hopping for boosts and getting nectar up. Make sure you can macro in Beesmas 2 non-stop for the gingerbread bears, for the 50 smoothies every time, basically for just everything. Like you'll get so much snowflakes, so much overall, I know I said this, but everything. Like whenever you start macroing, do the correct settings, correct things I've just mentioned and do mention still, you'll be rich. And even if you can macro for a few hours, if you're at school or whatever, it will be huge progress. Now for tip 20, to spawn Windy Bee, you can either do 1 star jelly or you could do 5 normal field dice and you should get Windy Bee. Boom. Wild Windy Bee is in one of the fields. And talking about Windy Bee though, who even get Windy Bee, you could either donate like 1 trillion, that's not 1 trillion, that's 100, but 1 trillion worth of treats, or brew a jelly up there, give that to the wind shrine, then donate your cloud vials, and you should get Windy Bee instantly, because that 1 trillion should give you like maybe, I don't know, 1 trillion favor or something. And the more favor you have from wind shrine, the higher chance you get. So try it out for yourself. But 1 trillion could be a lot, so maybe 1 billion or so, maybe even 10, maybe even 100 should work. But to get good wins for your boost, because wins are probably one of the most important things to have as well, just extra pollen all around when you're boosting. But to get good wins for your boost, for either red, blue or white hive, you could donate a turpentine or gifted mythic egg for the big boosts, for white and red for insanely good wins. But remember, RNG is a thing and those are quite expensive if you are trying to buy Santa plenty and stuff, so I'd be more safe with just a purple potion if you're red, gold wax if white hive, and a purple potion for blue too. But I'd mostly do blue extract because you do barely boost with blue, but you do have the blessing boost and the honey day boosts. But even if so, it's kind of a waste for blue, so you could stick with those anyway. You'll still do good most likely. For tip 23, don't use the honey day code as early game until we have porcelain full gear at least and bronze SSA to maximize it as much as possible. Then tip number 4, you guys are gonna love this one, and blue backpackers specifically, but leeching off of people doing meteor showers and asking them for it, same with sprout parties, is really good at the early game stage. Kind of known, but you actually get so much honey, making you speedrun things crazy. For tip 25, people think Puppy Bee is bad, but it's actually really good and OP to have for not only the levels that gives higher bond from treats, could also have bond from treats on your moon amulet to spend less honey, by the way, for the early game, or even anyone trying to level up, then could remove it once you do get that level 20, because then you can afford to have loads of tickets if you do macro. But Puppy Bee actually got a buff recently, last year, 2024 May, called the Puppy Love, that increases bond and grants 10% B move speed, 50% B gather amount for 10 seconds and 1 second per level. So that is why it's also really good for farming. So make sure you got that Puppy Bee, bro. That blessing OP for that 30 seconds. For 26, I recommend making sure that whatever server you are playing in, and even if you have a gifted Festive Bee, because the loot you get from it is actually so good and insane. Until Beesmas, then maybe you can remove, depends what hive color you are, of course, but macroing with it off Beesmas entire time. And you can use that loot for blue hive, glittering up every time, as it needs loads of of glitter, so you can spam it with some other materials too. Enzymes, it gives fruits, it gives literally everything, even festive beans sometimes. You're lucky, RNG though, and that goes for all hives. Getting all of those materials is so beneficial for you. And even when you're manually playing, make sure you're in a server with people that have it. For tip 27, I do recommend actually having a gifted vicious bean. Now, I done this a few days ago because I really realized how much I'm missing out on, but it is obviously so insane because of the monster respawn time it has, and that is if you're either doing the bug run macro or anything, just doing your dailies and killing coconut crab every day. Getting those tropical drinks will save you loads of sprouts, loads of time if you just do this until, well, overall just do it every time it spawns. You'll get those tropical drinks by no time. You'll get everything even faster than most people get things. Stump snail just so OP for glue and everything. Like, this is just a need, I'm gonna be honest, for the people that are grinding materials like I am. Tip 28 is actually not using your turpentines if you don't own planter or plenty. Same with wax, unless you need to buy something with it, but other than that, don't use it, just save them. Do want to add for vicious bee, you can remove it whenever you are boosting, but this is mostly for whenever you know you won't boost for a while. And if you are struggling with a quest, because I didn't know this too, I still remember the time somebody told me this in a stream, just use one glitter if you're not really saving for anything, and even if you are, this still is going to save your life and save 2 hours from your life and give it back. Quests will just go way faster, but obviously using field boosters and everything, because that is the next one, as using those field boosters over here can literally give you a 3 times mushroom that is so OP for maybe Stigbug quest. If Stigbug has, get like 10 billion pollen from mushroom, which will be pretty hard for some people. Or even if you get a quest in Robo challenge, that 3x mushroom is going to be so good combined with the homepage upgrade, basically like an 8x field boost and mushroom. But field dice is so much needed as well. Make sure you're doing Puffshrooms for the smooth dice to craft into loaded, getting that field dice to craft into it, doing the petal planter strat as I said before, spamming it, or just craft it to get a diamond Stigbug amulet. Matter of fact, over here, which is the current best, no, there's no supreme unfortunately, you will need at least a level 13 Stigbug with at least 50 million score to be eligible for it. For tip 32, if you are on that early game grind and just any game grind, make sure you grind up your badges, because these are so insanely OP. Like, you don't even understand. The honey at Hive, the instant red conversion, the loot luck, the white pollen, the red pollen, blue pollen, these are just so insane and are so good. For example, my noob account over here that has 2 million capacity in the field but has 1.7 without it, so the badges are really doing me right. And if you don't know what to grind, then badges could be one thing to do. Now for tip 33, for more Puffshroom stuff, if you are wondering when natural puffs spawn, not the ones that come from a planter but the ones that spawn in a field, there is actually a time for it, and that is anytime it is, for example, it's 5 p.m. for me right now. If this says 15 or 45, no matter what this time is, it could be 01, it could be 15, it could be 20, always at 15 or 45 on the second minute thing, a natural puff will be somewhere in any field. And I think the one in my server is either mountaintop or pepper, but let's go to the next tip while I'm looking for it. And you can actually get smoking planters or the Puffshrooms at 95%, so that is when they start, and you can use it even if it's not 100%. Now tip 35, while I'm still looking for it, to do Puffshrooms properly, get smoking planters in either over there, stump field, maybe even, nah, not mountain, clover, maybe coconut and pepper, because they are far away from the 15B zone, and that is where you usually do them with white hive or red in pumpkin, blue in pine, blue or red inside a cactus, and red inside a strawberry, and maybe even the occasional 6th player, the red one inside of rose for extra more puffs. And make sure everyone chases them whenever they get popped over there. For example, over there, so they level up the most while traveling the 15B zone for higher levels, so they are way better with loot and rarity. But make sure everyone has all the boost on and just stuff like that, so they go even faster. For the 36th tip, mutations over here are probably one of the most important things inside of Bee Swarm, so make sure you have a lot of them and the correct ones too, like buoyant bees having convert amount percent, tadpole same too, maybe instant conversion on them though. Size having move speed since it's the slowest bee, and still overall move speed, not really attack, because move speed is just more beneficial for the end game stages. But if you can't get it, settle with attack of course until you get it. Of course spicy bee convert, but move speed 100% sure on vector bees, but settle with convert too of course. Then others, they're kind of self-explanatory, bee ability rates and stuff like that. Tip 37 is actually grinding the leaderboards even just this one for tickets, but mostly the mythic one, the rare bee one for the gifted mythic egg, the epic one for gifted gold egg, and loads of tickets too. Of course, all the other ones as well, but that's kind of, you know what I mean, sweaty. And even grind the stick bug one or the stick cub buddy, as this one is so OP too, but that's more for the end game players, and this will just get you loads of materials, everything set for boosts for life, useful for not only the tickets but also for trading, boosting, and more. But you might have to switch to more of a rare bee hive, etc, robo, and etc. Tip 38 though over here, as you see, is to put everything and always have sticker stack active when you are grinding, because the additional buffs, let me just activate one over here to show you the additional buffs you get. Yes, it's a lot. That's so insane and so OP if your sticker stack is big, but lasts nearly 60 minutes like mine. So try grind that up when you're boosting or doing anything. Now tip 39 is over here to make sure you always have something crafting inside of your blender. Let me just get a few extracts crafting real fast so I can get to 10k. But doing extracts, doing enzymes, I struggled with it a lot while crafting dark scythe a bit ago. I kept having to craft enzymes, so you're going to waste tickets, so you'll thank yourself later for that. Also crafting fielder dice anytime you do have 100 whirly gigs inside of your inventory, because whirly gigs are pretty easy to get and you get them over time, so the more you're really able to craft, the better you'll be looking whenever you're doing anything, even boosting as blue, because I know not everyone has 20,000 field dice like me. Tip 41 though, being digital bee, is that it's not only one of the most OP bees in the game in the later game stage, but once you're like level 18 plus, you'll be able to grind for it probably. So just get glitch drives from round 20s every day for 5 days, or some if you're struggling. Unless you get round 25s, then just normal drives without getting any upgrades apart from the cog ones, and just buying those drives, so max them out ASAP, and doing the same exact formula but with round 25s for glitch drive or the slower for the other ones. Now to get mythic bees fast or cheaper, the settings are rolling until mutation over here, putting a neon berry on one, and sometimes it pops up, but it also is really RNG based, but it's a little better than just rolling normally or with the mythic one. Now tip 43 is, if you are blue hive but trying to switch to a different hive like red instantly when you get level 20, then just don't buy the tide popper. It's a waste of materials. You're going to waste it for no reason when those materials could be for dark scythe or even gummy baller. Unless you're planning to stay blue, then get it. Tip 44 is make sure you get petal belt before petal one over here, and I know this might be a little expensive, but it is more rewarding, as petal one just isn't that special. Basically similar to the porcelain dipper, but make sure you get petal planter though, like whenever you can instantly, and grind for it. Make sure the grind is there and you're always trying to get it, because petal planter may be one of the most OP planters in the game for loot and everything, and you will get it in Beesmas from the packs as well, so that's just something to remember. Tip 45 over here, you do want to focus on like all your quests. It's kind of self, you know what I mean, explanatory, but mostly the Dapper Bear quest too whenever you get to that later game stage or after SSA, because B-quips are so OP. You'll get most of your B-quips in Beesmas most likely, or even from here, and you will have 12 B-quip slots unfortunately, but they are just so OP. You need them as much as you can. Quests overall too, even for Spirit Bear, Black Bear, Mythic Egg, basically loads of good rewards, loads of honey, loads of materials, just a need. Tip 46 and also a few others. If you do want to start out on trading for rare things, make sure you either get rare B-quips from Beesmas to make sure to make use of it. There are specific videos on that too, or doing the sticker seeker quests and going for the rare milestones like quest 100 or quest 250, and trading those things up into star signs, etc. Same with getting cub buddies and more. You can trade for any stickers, anything you need and want like that. Just get more and more things easily. Just trading up starting from 0 and like that. Now there are other things too, of course, like retro challenge. You can use retro challenge as a way to get, as you see, Turpentines way faster than just doing puffs, but I'm gonna be honest bro, I don't really like retro, but it really is up to you guys trying to do that or do puffs. I'd probably pick Puffshrooms though. Anyway though, that's probably enough tips from me today. I'm sure I've forgotten a few things. I'm sure I should speak about more things, but there will be other videos too on literally everything else. If you're wondering like amulets, materials, how to get them fast, so make sure to just check my channel out and check this guide over here that should be popped up on screen right now. Anyway though, if this has helped, please let me know, because if you do still have questions, I'm more than happy to help.